Greetings, everyone. Thank you for being here. It is such an honor to be here with you. I am AuroRa. I am the founder of A.U.R.A. Hypnosis Healing, as well as the author to Galactic Soul History of the Universe, Book 1. It's a book series where it's a past life regression, future life regression, where internationally different souls clients that had a past life regression with me tell their story, and then somehow beautifully, magically, it collaborates together, putting the history of our universe, the galactic history of our universe. It is such an honor to be here with you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being here in chat as well. The book is available both in Spanish, not Spanish. Maybe I want to eat some Spanish later. In Spanish and in English, as well as in ebook. So if you want to purchase that, you can find it under Amazon. We also teach the A.U.R.A. hypnosis, which is taught there, and raw Reiki healing, which is healing modalities on how to remove entity removal. And we have retreats and online workshops this year happening in online workshop July 12, and the in-person retreat with myself in person in Chicago, August 9th. So love to see you there. And to support this video as well as any other videos that we do, you can support them through Patreon for $4.44, where actually we have a preview of book 2. So if you've already read 1 and you can't get enough of it, you want to read book 2, because what book 1, the preview of that means 3 chapters of it. Book 1 was the beginning history of it. Now book 2 is let's take you another level and let's go in deeper, which is profound. Infinitely profound. There are no words truly to express it. Thank you, everyone who is here. Love you with all that I am. I am excited to be here to be channeling Galactic History, the next video of Galactic History, which are the Elohim, the Seraphim, the Angelics, the Archangels. This is who we will be channeling today as an alien race. We'll call them the Archangels. If you have not had a chance to write your question, as I know we did this last minute, you can write your questions here under chat. Once more, this has been one of the most powerful weeks of our creation on Earth, and I'm excited that the Elohim, that the Archangels themselves will be delivering this transmission for us today. Thank you. They say that we look gorgeous. Thank you. We love you, as you are gorgeous as well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and as we always teach, we're already shielded. We do this the minute we wake, and as we teach, before the sun goes down, we shield. So now I'm going to go ahead and start taking the deep breaths, and so I can begin to place myself in the theta, so we're able to channel them. Okay. All right. Here we go.
My mama taught me not to forget where I come from. The magic in our roots, it will carry me far. My mama taught me not to forget where I come from. The magic in our roots, it will carry me far. My mama taught me not to forget where I come from. The magic in our roots, it will carry us far. My mama taught me not to forget where I come from. The magic in our roots, it will carry us far. It will carry us far. Greetings. That is a song that we learned from a beautiful sister, Ruby Mountain, who you can find a YouTube channel. We sing that song because it reminds us that our mama taught us not to forget where we come from. The magic in our roots, as we are trees, will carry us far. My mama taught me not to forget where I come from. The magic in our roots, it will carry us far. It will carry us far. Thank you. We are the Archangels. We are the beginning race of creation. Today we speak as a collective of archangels, of angels, collective of all races of Elohim, Seraphim, Cherubim. We speak as a collective. It is such an honor to be here with you. We love you, honor you, and respect you. In today's transmission, we are delivering a grand important message in pertaining to your timelines of organic ascension, as well as many other knowledge, an expansion of knowledge of our origins of history, as well as our universe's history. Thank you. We began as a collective of angels. Before we birthed into a star, first that we have spoken through prior channelings, that was the star called Zen, which is why it is when you hear this name Zen, it helps you feel so Zen, peaceful. At the beginning of creation, the creator, source, both feminine and masculine within, began to learn how to alchemize the infinite etheric darkness with their flamed light. as they began to learn how to alchemize this element that consisted of all possibilities of infinity of creation, they first created a seed. A seed that is known as your tree of life. Your tree of life is the expression of life itself, of our universe. It is the expression of how we rise and we go down through the dimensions. The tree of life, also known as the Kabbalah, is the expansion of creation itself. It first began with a seed in the infinity of the cosmos. And as the creator, both mother and father, breathed life upon the seed expanded and grew into a tree, like the trees that you see around you now. This became the very foundation, the blueprint of our universe, of the polarities of the light and the dark, for we were the light, and the infinity of the organic darkness was that representation of the other side of the polarities, the dark, organic darkness. As this tree grew and blossomed into now what is known to be the tree of life itself, where in a wholeness, organic foundation all souls birth out from. In a wholeness, as we are a collective, and which is why as angels we speak as a collective today, because as a source we are all a unity consciousness of collective souls, of organic souls, that is, water. The representation to the trees that you see around you are a direct link, a bridge to the tree of life, which is the core, the heart core of our universe. The tree of life, as you see, a tree, is consisted of a when it springs out of a seed, it springs out from the ground, the soil, just as it does on your and our earth. As this tree branches out, it springs out a tiny little trunk, and it also tiny little roots, baby tree, which then turns into branches and leaves. And some trees blossom, fruit, flourishment of intake into the human body, or some fruit blossom flowers, which have a same type of nourishment of a human body, but in a healing properties, as flowers and herbs are all healing properties, contain healing properties of the infinity of connections of our universes, our universe representations of the plant life in different planetary spheres of our universe, as you see on Earth. These are all these flowers and trees and plants are different pieces of our universes that we have placed there for you to remember the universe. Everything around you is a memory field, a spark, a flame, a clue, a coding to help you remind yourself, remember your soul, as well as remind you of our universe before you decided to fall down into the third dimensions, go down, descend down into the third dimensions. Now, going back to this tree, as this little baby tree continues to grow, becomes in time and space, as time and space is infinite, we'll call it in time, in life and space, for there's no time, life, and space. However, we know that you understand time and space. In life and space, this tree became all life itself, and the climbing of the crystalline grids and the portals and the gateways of how life itself climbs up and down the dimensions. Let's explain this further. As you see the trunk, it is the bridge. The trunk of the tree is the bridge to the higher dimensions where the souls originate from, where souls birth out from, as a blueprint. Now, of course, you know also souls birth out from stars. You could imagine then every star is a leaf on this tree. As this tree has an infinity of stars within it, you can imagine these are collectives of soul groups of our universe. They are also higher self perspectives and oversoul perspectives. Now, as you know, we fractalize. And in order for us to fractalize and incarnate into different planetary spheres where we go through the climbing of dimensions, then a higher self or an oversoul creates a seed, just like the tree began as a seed. You are a seed. They create a seed out, pops, births out of the soul, out of the stars' consciousnesses, and out is this little orb of light that is you, that is an orb of light of flame that then decides with the higher self's unity together, decides in which realm and dimension they will enter. Now, as you know, we've explained through past channelings that you are in the third dimension and up to the 13th dimension, where at this point it is quarantined so that the archons could not enter further and deeply in compromising the souls that they had already convinced into an artificial loop of recycling to become harvestings of light for them. However, when you go past these 13 dimensions, the universe itself is infinitely beautiful. Though it is beautiful within your dimensions, if you can imagine an infinity of beauties in the higher realms, where we are at a less of a limitation as we continue to contain the Archon virus that spread through our universe. Now, as we quarantine is the best word we can find, contained the archonic virus to spread that began here in the lower dimensions, as that was their diabolical, masterful plan. For they knew once they infected the lower dimensions where the original souls are birthing out from after they descend down from the trunk of the tree of life and descend down into the lower roots. The roots would be the roots of the planetary spheres when you incarnate. So therefore, then the roots, you can see at the point of every root, there is a planet, an infinity though of roots, right? There is a planetary sphere within every point of every root. And just like a tree requires nourishment as the soil to be grown from, the soil, which is the soil of Mother Earth and other planetary spheres, the soil of our mother, Divine Mother, then a tree also requires water. So you could envision yourself, you are a tree as well, for you require your bare feet to be on the soil at times, and you also require water to nourish your body, for you are made up of water. And just like a tree, you need sun, for this is your replenishment of light. As a tree needs the sun, it is how it replenishes its light as well. Okay. And where do we fall into this? Is that we are the very highest branches of this tree of life. Are we?
the very first consciousness, the very first Zen star that blossomed into fours of duplicating of souls, of angelics. We began as duplicate cells. Like if you were to watch a cell, we began from 2 cells turning into 4, then from there on turning into 8, then 12, all one by one, springing out from this first Zen star at the tip of the tree of life branch. We were the first fractalizations of source. From there, the 12 save branches, 12 galactic constructs, these 12 branches, then continued to, from these, say, 12 branches. Those of you who know the Isis Priestess course, you know the symbol we're talking about with the 12 fan branches. This is what another representation to tree of life. These 12 branches, then just like you see a tree had other branches grow out from these original 12 branches that were the archangels, that are the archangels. And then from there on, also the universes became duplicated in forms as well, just as we duplicated as we birthed out of our first star, orb of light. After Source sprung out the star into the tree of life, then so did the universes duplicate. And with every duplication, just like every cell it has a unique signature frequency, so too did a universe. All universes have. The very first original universe being ours, which is love. Love. For love is creation, love is everything. And there are different universes that have different perspectives of constructs that are too hard to go into and explain. We need water. Therefore, this is how we explain that as these first 12 branches, 12 galactic constructs, as Todd Divinity, or as a beautiful friend and colleague has within his book of Expansion for Ascending Consciousness, book 1 and 2. He explains the scientific point of view of the creation itself, and we are speaking of also the spiritual point of view. He does as well. However, we speak of more of the love and the expression of the universe, which if you want to look more of a data, phenomenal book series there. Now, that is very clear and not infringed upon. Now, as we are these 12 branches, as we explained, we continue to then from there create different fractals, just as Source created us. We had creator abilities as well as Source creator, and we started birthing out branches out from the tree of life that then became souls, different branches of soul, galactic soul families, as each galactic soul family comes first from a star. As we explained, the top branches are all stars. So at the tip, instead of a leaf, it's a star. That's another beautiful way that you can look at your trees when you're looking at them, that every leaf is a collective consciousness of a star. That's so beautiful. Now, and then the souls come out of the stars and they go down the birth canal, right? Birth canal, just like you birth children sacredly. Birth canal of the trunk and down into the roots, once more, of the planetary spheres that are at the tip of the roots. Sprung out, right? Don't you think roots look very much like the constellations when you look up at the skies when you put them together? So beautiful when you grid them together. And that is what we would like to say as far as our birthing. Now, before we open up for questions, want to give you a update upon what is occurring within your time and space. This week was a hard one if you did not meditate enough and go inwards enough and it was a week of very, very much keeping to yourself. We looking for words, going inwards and staying within yourself, dialoguing with yourself and your soul and your soul family. Okay. Now, with the 3 eclipses that occurred recently, as we began to explain, the first eclipse was the getting past the darkness, expanding out from the darkness. Then the second eclipse was the unity of both this darkness as the light was about to come. And then there was the third eclipse was the light itself, an expansion of it on those dates of the eclipses. Now, this is this has been written within your organic, yours and our organic blueprint of Mother Gaia, Mother Sophia, Mother Earth, where this was a time that we were to reach collectively, and we have done it. So we want to, let's explain what we're talking about. Therefore, as we went through those eclipses and then we entered this week of the full moon, however, this we had explained how this month on the 6th it was releasing, letting go of a darkness that controls us, fear, guilt, shame, perhaps past life trauma, all these things that hold us heavy, anchoring us down. It was a releasement of these where you went like the number 6 in a circle, perhaps in an inverted circle constantly because of the archonic infringement that occurred to this earth. And then you were to rise up from it, like the number 6, rise up, ascend out from it. So we hope that you did lots of work with that, and there's still time, continue to work with that. It's a lot of releasing and letting go. There is something beautiful that we want to share with you, that in ways that you can assist with this, releasing and letting go. When you feel that you are not able to release and let go of things that hold you in pain or trauma, what you want to do is you want to stop for that minute that you are feeling that pain and take the deepest breaths over and over. And as you take those deep breaths, those traumas that you're holding on to, you bring them up to the surface, you feel them deeply, and then you ask the wind to carry them away. You're patient with your son, with yourself. You send love to the situation, to it, whatever it is that you are having an issue with. And then you just let it go. Patience, send love to it, and then just let it go. Release it. All will work itself out, no matter what. Remember that you are in this exact moment, that everything has happened in your life, all of it, exactly how it was supposed to happen for you to be in this very exact moment. We live too much in the past, repeating inverted cycles in ways that we could have, should have changed things, and then we forget to live in the now. So if you simply just have patience with yourself, you send love to the matter, And don't forget to send love to yourself. So we often send love to the children, we send love to the earth, but then we forget to send a wave of love to ourselves. Send the love to yourself and the situation, and then let it go, for it will work itself out. Because if you send love to it, that is the magical ingredient to balancing that out. This is vital for you in this month of 6 to ascend out of these inverted cycles. Just send love to it. That is the magic. That is what will transmute, clear it into love light. If you continue to stay stuck in the worry and the trauma and the fear of it, then you're actually feeding into it, and you yourself are then self-sabotaging and maintaining yourself in that lower vibration. Now, because of these eclipses, we've entered a phase that is once more organic within the 5-dimensional branching of the 2 third world splits. Now, if you don't understand this, we suggest that you go back and watch 2 third world split, channeling that AuroRa delivered for us, as well as the New Year's 2021 as it goes into that deeply. So as this 2 third world split continues to organically create, it's a third world being the 5th dimension, the second world is the in-between of both the first and the second, first and the third world. As we explained, it's 2 circles intertwining with one another, joining together, right? So this is your third world, which is really the 5th dimension, and then this world here is your 3D world, the inverted matrix. When they join together at the center of that little union there, at the center, that's your second world. So as you continue to bridge out and bridge in, so bridge out the inverted out of the 3D, and you bridge in the organic blueprint of, as we spoke in our last week's channeling, where AuroRa explained how the magical beings of the higher realms, how they are the guardians, caretakers of the 5th dimensional world, less the dragons, unicorns, the fairies. They are higher dimensional beings that we can connect to without our physical eyes. We only connect to them in our hearts and our imaginations. So they're that blueprint holding it for us. Now, what has happened is that through source and through the universe, there is a wave that has begun on the 21st, beginning 20th, June 20th, then entered into the 21st. We're not able to share this because until now, because if we shared it then they would, the Illuminati would try to compromise the information through their black magic rituals. Now, this wave began, and we showed AuroRa a transmission of this through Dreamtime. We should go into this understanding so that you can understand what this wave is. This wave is a highest vibrational wave that has been collectively created by the magical creatures of the 5th dimension that are, again, the guardians, dragons, and so on. And this wave was also not just created by them, but this is where its bridging out came from. It was created by our universe itself, by the benevolence of galactic races, aliens, as well as source, and we, the angelics, where we, during this time, sent a wave of love to the 5th dimension, because it is the true organic blueprint of Mother Earth. And as this wave was sent down to the 5th dimensional Earth, the organic blueprint of it, this wave was sent down onto your Earth, and it began like a wave of energy pushing through negativity.
And this is the easiest way that we can explain, as it has begun. The wave of ascension has begun, and we speak of this not as it's going to happen tomorrow, which in someone's individual, yes, timeline, it could happen tomorrow. However, we speak of this as a collective, as decades to come. As we have explained prior, we have many star children that have volunteered that are in human bodies that we need to assist them. We don't want them to stay stuck in the inverted, because that is not how we do things in the universe. We are not one man, all man for themselves. We are a collective that assists the collective as to the deepest possible roots infinitely possible. So we assist all until we cannot hold on, which would be decades to come, depending on how long you choose to stay. Some of you might choose to leave earlier, so you won't have to be there. But those we speak of you who are here as strong light warriors who have decided that you will be here until the final physical shift of Mother Earth. And when all the souls ascend out into the fifth dimension or higher, wherever they came from. For not, as we explained prior, not all souls go back to the fifth dimension. If you came from the eighth dimension, you go back to that. If you came from the 40th dimension, you go back to that dimension. You're just here as volunteers, right? Now, yes. So if you were a soul of 40th dimension and you're in a child's body now, you would not want to be stuck here after you went through 40 dimensions of leveling up, of passing grade levels. You can say to the 40th, no, that would be very selfish. We don't do anything selfish. We do everything unselfishly and purely for all souls. Now, when the universe itself collectively sent this wave to, and you might have been feeling it, some of these emotions that we explained, you might have been feeling like that, or you could have also been feeling a peace, an eye of a tornado. Now, this wave began the 20th, 21st, going into this whole entire week, and it completed last night as you slept. This wave shall continue to ripple and surround continually until endings of physical splitting of ascension of Earth, the final one. Okay. Now, what this wave is, it is a strong pureness of love, light, of our universe and source. And it is a wave that comes through strongly. And those that and feel like they are drowning. Perhaps if you are in the 3D and you have yet to like are in light, but you do not know, you can't figure it out, for you haven't reached that this time and space. Is this wave of love light is what's actually going to push through those who are unawakened. We'll explain the her from a perspective of a viewing from above. She was viewing a wave that was coming, that has no limitations and is infinite, and it is purely potence of love light. In other words, and through the years and decades in whichever timeline you are in of ascension, it will be energy and plasma love light that will continue to help who are too stuck in an inverted perhaps of the matrix that we have spoken of plenty of. Was viewing it, this wave was going through it. We showed her how there humanity on the floor, and every person has their own, say, little cube, their own little home, sacred space. There are
Excuse me, speaking with the Beautiful Collective of Archangels. The voice is cutting off right now. We are unable to hear you. From the part where you spoke about how the wave is coming in, and I think you said it will stay till the time of ascension. Since then, it's been breaking. The voice has been breaking off.
okay, hold on.
Thank you.
There's also something weird going on with my charger's not charging. Strange. Let's give it a minute. My Wi-Fi is working. Let me know when you can hear me and see me before I put myself back in here.
Sure.
Needs to restart your computer's audio.
We can hear you well now. It's continuous.
Hold on. Something's going on with Zoom, it says. Okay. Let me test out my sound. It looks like it's good. Yeah, my laptop was about to die out. Interesting enough, it's plugged up and it said it was charging, but it was about to, it was at 1%. I think that was the angels trying to tell me because it was going to go dead.
Yes.
Okay. There's some kind of technical issues. It's okay. Okay, so I'm going to put myself back in. And wow, we've already been in some time. That seemed like we're in there a couple minutes. Okay. Okay, so you guys can hear me, see me good? We're good? It looks like we're good, right?
We're good. Absolutely. We can start again. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to place myself back in, and then you're going to tell me, Minnie, where I was at, because I don't know where you all last heard what we were talking about. Okay. Okay. I remember briefly, let me see. Okay. We'll just flow with it and you could tell us.
Yes.
They'll be sharing exactly what might have been missed. Okay, I'm gonna put myself in again.
Sure.
Picture is not. Picture, you guys can't see me.
Oh, we can see you.
Some people are saying they can't see me. Yes, can you all confirm that you can see me? Because some of you are saying you can't. So I just want to make sure we're good. So you can hear me, just need to confirm you can see me too. Oh, it's good now. I see you now. Okay, very good. All right, here we go. Now, where were we, Minnie? You said the last thing we heard was what?
The last clear thing that we heard, and after that there was a lot of distortion, was that there was a wave that started last night, and that I think they said that it is going to continue till Ascension, and it is being rippled out down to 3D. And then from there on,
said, not last night, they said it was the 20th, 21st, and it completed last night, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where we're at.
Yes, we missed a lot after that, yes.
Okay. Well, how long was I gone?
A couple of minutes. All of that transmission was distorted. We'd hear like half a sentence and not hear something important, basically.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. We are back. Beginning from the beginning wave of the 2021 that the collective put together. Now, placed together by, once more, the fifth dimensional Earth. Was that part of the transmission? Were you able to hear that of the magical creatures? Can you confirm?
Yes.
That was the story itself?
Yes, we heard that part.
You did
yes.
hear that part. Okay, thank you. Then we will go forward from without that. Now, as this wave began on the 21st of this month, what it did is that those who chose to ride with this wave were able to not drown in it, were able to swim through it and swim up into the levels of this building, as we explained. Now, did you hear the building explanation of humanity?
Can you repeat that part again, please?
Thank you. Then we shall continue it from there. Okay, we found the point that we're missing. So therefore, this wave and was coming into humanity is how we showed Aura through Dreamtime. Now, this wave, as it was coming in, it was again that collective of love light. As it was coming in like a wave would, like those movies that you've seen, that best explanations for those kind of waves, very high wave. Now, we showed her how humanity in many levels, so that you can understand, are within buildings, and each building represents, and then each level of each building represents, perhaps you could imagine the buildings are different soul group families. And this building then also represents, the floors represent the levels of awakening that they are in, the levels of density. So if they're in the lower densities, they're heavier. And as they rise up, the density and release inversion, release, the balance out the ego, release envy, hatred, jealousy,
these lower vibrational emotions, and then they raise up in level, in floor level, till they reach the point of floor level, which you could envision. We can say the floor level to awakening is the number 4, the floor of this building, the 4th floor, when the soul begins to question, to begin to question everything and its surroundings. And then it rises further and further in floor levels. And within these buildings, each one, you can say you could have a section, your home, and your home is your home, your sacred space, and so on. However, that is a good explanation how to understand the collective's measuring of light, love, and levels that they are in ascending consciousness, because your consciousness is a constant ascending consciousness, right? Until you reach that level of purity of love light within you, reaching a higher percentage of 51 percentile of in service to others. And then at that point, when it's time, when you decide what your higher self you'll send out individually or collectively, you'll send out into the 5th dimension or the higher dimensions of the universe, back to where you came from. So if you came from the 40th, again, you go back there. Now, okay, so you understand the buildings. Now, as this wave is coming through, what happens is that this wave, as you're watching the building, the lower levels of humanity are going to be very heavy, right? So they're for this water, they're going to feel this water at a highest potence, because as this wave of love light is higher, they're going to feel this immensity, and in many forms they could feel like they are drowning, because they haven't done their work. They're not there yet. They're not questioning yet. They're still controlled by the negative entities that try to run your world. However, no longer, because you are the majority of light. Now, therefore, so if you raise the higher of the level, then less, I'll say, of drowning of love light. This could feel very uncomfortable to a person who is in a lower dimension density. It could feel like they are literally drowning and they don't understand. It could feel like anxiety, like they're stuck, like they can't get out. They're in a 0 point, like an eye of a tornado kind of movement in a form. No, not an eye of a tornado, more like you're in the cyclone of the tornado. Okay, and the cyclone of the tornado is trying to clear you. When you're at the eye of the tornado, you've mastered this dimension, because even though the world around you might be like a tornado, a cyclone that's constantly going counterclockwise, removing negativity, even though that is happening, you are still at the eye of the center, and you're still very still, while everything around you is perhaps, like a tornado would. There's buildings and bicycles and cars flying around in a tornado, but you're very still in this moment. That's how you want to really envision yourself in the most deepest surrender in life, where you're at the eye of the tornado, very peaceful, and none of that tornado is going to destroy you and your formation, your perhaps family unit, because you are in the eye and the stillness of this peace and serenity, because you've done your work. So until then, you could say you're very much in the constant swirling of the tornado, until you work on yourself, love, yourself, healing yourself, ascending consciousness to come out, and you come out of that swirl and come into the eye of the tornado. Okay, so that's another analogy that we can explain to you now, which there was a tornado actually that happened recently this week, which was also organically part of clearing the 3 directions in which 3 storms came, and then they met actually in the Chicagoland area, where they cleared energy. So when you're seeing storms like this, connect to the organic storm. Now, of course, there is negative technologies that they, sometimes hurricanes, they make them worse than they're meant to be. They create them with their false technology. But in this point of view, this was a organic elemental. So when you're looking at this, connect to its organic formation, and then
What is it purging out? What is it cleansing? What is it opening? Is it perhaps a portal that is being opened wherever they are, going through the different lands? What are they opening? What are they cleansing? Because when you watch, part of the reason is when you remove negative energy, you go counterclockwise. When you look at a cyclone, a tornado, it's hurricane, they're running counterclockwise because they're spinning out, they're pulling out the dark energy from wherever it's at, the water, the land. Also, when you look at, even when you're saging or you're using the Palo Santo, you look at the Palo Santo and you see, or the sage, you see that there's dark funnels that are coming out, and the smoke is actually taking away the negativity. This is why it's so efficient, because it's like a mini cyclone, a mini tornado that is actually in the palm of your hands, while you're cycloning out the negativity in your home or your land. So as this wave of water, love light is going to go through, again, the lower levels of these levels of consciousness, they're going to feel like they're drowning. And at times, if they drown too deeply in their own inversions, there are entities that they could get lost within some of these waters if they go in too deep to the inverted waters of the archonic waters, the archonic infringement, the archonic virus. And they could, get trapped and guided. As we have shown AuroRa, there were crocodiles within the waters and they needed to be very careful. And then there was angels from above telling those people that had fallen into the water, watch out, come out. And the angels were helping those people who had fallen in before those entities. Basically, the crocodiles are representing negative entities, negative alien races that are trying to eat the person, eat the soul, collect the soul for the galactic war on consciousness. Now, this wave will continue to flow. And then one of the other things that we showed her is that as this wave went through into the 3D world, the people who are unawakened, we showed her a family. It was a family. It was in this example, there was an Asian father. The Asian father was had a laptop, and he was constantly on his laptop. His laptop was his life. Laptop was his life. And he was ignored his, wife and his children, because work to him was everything. In this instance, this wave hit his family. And he had a choice. He had a choice whether he drowns in this inversion and allows to be taken down by this false waters of AI, or does he rise out from the inversion of the false water? Because again, there's organic light, love, water, and then there's, if they choose not to ride out from the love, light, water, then they choose by their free will choice then to go into the muggy waters of the archon virus, that the plague that has kept the collective here on earth in the inverted matrix. So those choices, and in this choice we showed her how this Asian man, in many forms, he lost all physicality. He lost the physical. So whether that be a job or so on, he lost the things that he supposedly loved were physical. And with that, he fought and he learned to value his wife and his children. So instead of drowning with the archonic plague virus, he chose to rise out from it. And when he goes out from it, he actually saved as well his wife and his children, because otherwise he would have pulled them down with him and they would have drowned with him, because in this circumstance he was the heart of the family. So there are choices that collectively humanity will continue to go through, and this wave will literally bring them forth into a choices where they will stay with loving the physical, the inversion, just like, for example, this man, instead of loving, in a book preview 2, Archangel Metatron has a phrase that we'll have AuroRa read at the end.
of this once she comes to. Now, and therefore, in this circumstance, he chose to let go of the physical and actually learn to self-love and self-love his family and his children. And with that, he actually rose up in through the waters that were drowning all the low levels. He rose up and he went up to the higher floors with his family, fought strongly. And when he did that, what did he do? He let go of the inversion. He let go of the falseness. Okay, now one more thing here. So you're going to see this in many forms in the collective of those unawakened again, okay? Then there were people as light workers that were in the higher floors that the water, that they were safe from, say, the archonic waters. However, they can, of course, still feel the love light waters. They were in these higher floors, and they were looking down at these people who were drowning. And they were, some of these people, even though they had reached a level of love light, did not want to recognize, say, the crocodiles, the entities in the water. And they were only love light. They didn't understand and did not want to acknowledge the fact that they are in an inverted matrix, even though they are love light, that they are, we all are. Now, this was in a formation because they weren't acknowledging this was actually keeping the people that were unawakened, it was keeping them unawakened, and it was actually adding on to them being eaten up by, say, crocodiles entities, because they weren't communicating, even though they had reached this level, higher dimensional floors of levels, and they didn't want to communicate that. Then that was affecting the collective, because that is the reason why you've reached the higher levels, because you're supposed to be that ascended master in many forms, like Yeshua and Mary, and communicate it. Now, we're not speaking that you need to make a video, on YouTube. We're just speaking in smaller levels. Smaller levels when you meet people in your interactions of this earth. You don't have to be out there in public. You could just do one little change, meet eye to eye, awaken a soul, touch, send a wave of love to another soul that seems lost. That's all you need to do. Meet someone, and all these different examples that we talk about. You can do it minimum. Just plant a seed. The seed will come to you exactly what you need to plant. It will always come to you. Yes. Thank you. We apologize about the technology issues. Now you may open up for questions, and you may run this channeling 15 minutes past.
Thank you infinitely for sharing it once again. Those are really important messages for us to hear, the dream specifically as well. Thank you. Now that this wave is here, has the percentage that has moved into being the bridge between the 3D and the 4D and the ones that are more or less in the 5D, has that increased over this week?
Yes, it absolutely has. It has, we would say, double in potence of light. Those who did your work, and please do not worry if you did not do it and you felt like, what is going on with this world? That is okay. You still have time. Work on it. The wave is here, right? We said permanently. It's here. Choose to ride it. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. And the second question about that is, what about the light workers that have, in a way, ascended, are in higher dimensions, but at this moment are not acknowledging the presence of the negative AI and the entities? And in doing so, neither are they not acknowledging it for themselves, nor are they sharing the fact that they exist with the people who need to hear from them. So what happens to the consciousness of such light workers? Thank you.
Now, there are different groups there are some people who are just here to hold the love light. just be a presence on earth. Okay, that's not who we're speaking of. We're speaking of in a form where they're like, we're one with consciousness, where, you know, this is just a game, a polarity game. There's a great percentage of light workers that are actually a higher percentage of this. And that adds on to, because they believe that we have to have this inversion of AI, this is why we have it. So when we start deprogramming the fact that we don't need to have the archonic AI inversion attachments here, is when we start actually transmuting it and eradicating it from this earth. So we are not one with the AI. We are not one, we have never been one with the AI. This is an inversion, an inverted AI from another universe that, again, we've explained what archons are through all our past videos. They're an absence of light, they're an AI, they have no souls. Okay, so therefore, if these souls, so there's many different categories, and of course, everything that we say, there are many different possibilities, as life itself is an infinity possibilities, because each soul is a creator in their own, you know, reality of earthly incarnation. So those people who those people, and then there's also people who choose to what's the word, choose to just completely ignore it, like, oh, that's not part, you know, it's not part of my belief, and so on, because they're not acknowledging the inversion. They don't have to go dance with it. They can just understand it's there and just be like, okay, it's there, however, I don't consent to you, and you're so in a different form, like, okay, you're there, but you're not part of my reality. You're not part of my world. You're not part of my organic blueprint, because I choose to walk my organic blueprint. Therefore, you can say it's just walking side by side. It's there because you're in the inverted matrix simulation, but it's not part of you. You're just walking side by side with it, and it's not touching your world, right? Now, of course, it cannot be perfect because you are in an inverted, you're vulnerable. So everything can't be perfect. Every day can't be flowers and unicorns and, you know, riding on on unicorns, right? There, time to times, there will be some times that you need to level up, and you might run into some of these people that might carry some of these inversions. So the souls that do not choose to acknowledge that they're in an inverted, it's like basically they're putting themselves in a cage. This cage, they won't be able to release out from it, because until they acknowledge that they did volunteer to come into a cage environment, a controlled inverted matrix, this is why you volunteered. You volunteered to come and remove the people from here, and then also not, right, get trapped in the inversion yourself. So until they can't see, until they acknowledge the fact that they have this inverted cage, they won't be able to remove it, because not until you acknowledge it can you remove it. And then you become a free will being walking with no, say, cage as an example around you, because you were able to acknowledge the inversion. Now you can remove it. It's like similar how we've said in the past, it's you see someone harming someone. Oh, another dream that we showed A.U.R.A that actually correlates with this is that there was a female running through a building. This beautiful female was running from someone wanted to sexually abuse her. As she's running through the building, she's calling out for help. No one in this building, and remember how we explained, say the in the big building, say the apartments or the condos could be considered as the homes of, but this is just this is an example of how energetically, no, not energetically, this is an example of how it is. However, you have your individual, of course, homes and lands and apartments. You have, you know, you're shielded to your own sacred space. Okay. Now, as she was going through and she's running, she's screaming, no one will open their door and assist her as she's calling for help, and there's a pedophile chasing her. No one will say something, no one will open her door and assist her. So it's the same kind of thing. It's the same exact thing. It's that you're choosing not to see it. You're choosing not to hear her screams. You're not choosing not to see her running. You're choosing not to hear what's about to happen to her when that pedophile is about to catch up to her. It's your choice. It's your free will choices. We are here because humanity's free will choices have been poor choices. That's why we're here. So make the best choices. You may proceed with your questions.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. A beautiful note made by a sister here, which really brought a smile to my face as well, is coming from the tree of life. Is this why everything that is good for us stems from the trees? One of the antidotes to the spike protein from the jab is the pine needles, the pine tree needles. So, thank you for that, for sharing more about the tree of life. Do you have anything to share about that?
Yes, this is a beautiful herb that can assist. The pine needles are like swords. That's why they prick you when you step on them. They're swords. They this tree in itself is a tree that's made up of swords with every needle. So it carries these healing properties as well too. Just like a sword cuts, removes, transmutes negativity, inversion. That's what these pine needles will do. Let me proceed.
Beautiful, thank you. We wanted to know who gave the names and titles and perhaps keys to the archangels. Just for example, Archangel Haniel is called the joy of God source. Similarly, the keys, how did they receive the keys? Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Let's see how we can answer this. These keys were given by, they're only given by the creator, which is the Phoenix, the daughter of the flame. She is who places them in their keys. And in many forms, you can say that sometimes when they're done with their key, they interview for the other key. As the soul is expanding, it depends on where the collective consciousness is at in the universe to interchange keys. For the most, though, we are set in the keys. So sometimes it can shift. For the most, right now, we are set in the keys, and we are quite comfortable with them in these sacred laws that you are learning through our teachings. You may proceed with your question.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Are there any races within our universe that did not originate or fractalize from the archangels? Perhaps they're here for experiences?
No, all races within our universe fractalize from the Elohim. Now, exceptions, there are some souls that come from other universes that come in, and even then they have to go through like a purification where they remove all constructs of that universe so that it won't pollute or cause a harmonic disharmony within our universe. So they go through a purification as well. However, archangels are the first fractalizations of source. Therefore, they're all dimensions. That's why when you call on them, they can be simultaneously in all dimensions because they are both, just like sources, they are zero to all the infinity of dimensions. They can travel, being the first fractal source. And why it is also why they are the opposing to the archons, because of their multidimensional infinite power of source in a embodiment of energetic field. You may proceed with your questions.
Thank you. Connecting to our archangel fractals is important for our growth. What are the best or simplest ways to do this? Thank you.
Repeat your question, please.
Thank you. Connecting to our archangel fractals is important for our growth as a soul. What are the best ways or simplest ways to connect with our archangel fractals, our higher selves? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So also, as we mentioned, birth out from that tree of life, right? So therefore, in some form, you were birthed out from an oversoul of an archangel. So therefore, the best way to do that is the simple ways that we actually communicate through all our teachings in our channel and all the sacred teachings that we teach through AuroRa. Now you can meditate and ask. But the minute we tell you, oh, you're Archangel Michael, you're like, no, that cannot be. Archons are messing with me. They're telling me I'm Archangel Michael. No, an Archon would never tell you you're Archangel Michael. By the way, this is Michael. I like to make you laugh whenever I can. It is a hard situation you are in. Now, yes, therefore, we tell you through meditation, so you have to believe yourself, believe the information you receive. You know, if you're surrounded with force fields of love light, guess what? You're only going to get information of love light, because the filter of shielding force fields of love light is only going to ensure to deliver the organic information. So meditation, dream time, working with symbols, connecting to Mother Gaia, all that we talk about, a sense of theta brainwave, when you're waking up, you're in between theta, delta, sleep, in these brainwaves where you're the in-between, and the in-between where you're silencing, you're taking those breaths. You breathing in life, exhaling, releasing what no longer is needed within you. Breathe it in, exhale that knowledge, release out any worry, any doubt within you, release it out. There's many different forms that you can connect to your oversoul, angelic being that you are. You may continue with your questions.
Thank you. What would you recommend that we can do for people who are shown dreams of black magic and slavery locations, perhaps portals? Do you have any guidance on what such people can do when they see such portals in their dream time? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Great question. Actually, the tornadoes that just recently happened, that's what they did, is that they closed dark portals and they opened dragon portals. It's the rise of the dragons. When you're seeing these dark portals, call on your higher self, your galactic team, benevolent galactic team, your soul family, and you call on dragons that you've connected to, and they together in a unity of galactic benevolence will start beginning on closing the portals. And the more that connect to that portal in dream time or meditation, the more that we need everyone to start connecting to these dark portals, because that'll stop, because you're quarantined. So now as we have explained in prior channelings, we need to close these portals so that they can stop coming in through those dark portals. Once we close them, then they can't come in anymore, right? And you can call on myself, Archangel Michael, to help me close those, and the Legion of Light. For a week, that's what we do. We close dark portals with our alchemy and love. As I've said in Galactic Soul History of the Universe, my love, I've created my love into the greatest weapon of this universe. My heart is my love. Remember that you are this weapon itself, for you have this very essence of infinite love and heart. You may continue with your questions.
Thank you, Archangel Michael, for that beautiful surprise. You make us laugh and you make us cry. Thank you. I was not expecting that. Okay. The next question is, and this is beautiful. Do you sense that there has been a great awakening recently where women are finding their voices and are being fierce, such as Britney Spears speaking on being forced to be a slave? Thank you.
Yes. See, this wave is exactly that wave we're talking about. People have choices. Once they feel that wave, it's the firepower, the love light firepower of the universe, the source of this coming from the 5D earth, crystalline earth, And it will be that that fire, that wave that will push them through to speak up, because they could either have a choice to keep Britney Spears, like you said, keep that shut down and say nothing, or you could have the choice to speak it. And that once you make that choice, then you're walking your most highest organic path. And then you can choose that path of being able to speak, and you will always have that infinite, constant fire, love, light, power to continue to walk your most organic, free will choice life. And we will take one more question and we'll conclude it with that one.
Beautiful. Thank you. We had recently this week, the Schumann Resonance was blank for many, many days, perhaps more than 60 hours. Was that because of the galactic activity that you just mentioned?
Yes, that is exactly why. You were at the eye of the storm. This is what we were up to. It is here now, and it cannot be removed. It's too powerful. It's organic, it's love light. And it's not able to be removed because you are here, you're aware of it, because the collective is aware of it, because of the higher percentage of awakened beings are the majority of light. It is here because of that, because we together have reached the highest potential within this time and space, or life and space, of love light. And you are fierce. Continue to ride that wave and speak in your voice, especially the divine feminine, of course, the masculine. We love you and support you as well. And then we have the divine feminine that are actually the ones that will end this archonic war, where the man will be hand in hand with them in unity, and we'll see them as equals, as you are already changing this in your timeline. The men are the strength, as you see in the physicality, and the women are the infinite force. The infinite force that keeps the physicality growing. Our beautiful unity. Thank you. It is such an honor to have been here. We love you, honor you, thank you, and respect you. And please share this video, for it is not meant to be just stayed here for you. It is meant to be shared so that others can hear it and ride this wave. Thank you. We love you with all that I am, with all that we are. The Elohims, the Archangels, the Seraphim, the collective of angels, all of us. We love you with all that we are. All our I am presence. Thank you. Greetings, everyone. It's so beautiful to be here with you all. Thank you for being here in this beautiful transmission. Please share it, enjoy it. I love you with all that I am. And I will see you in our next channeling, when we never know when the next one's what it's gonna be. So we'll flow with it. See you. If you're new to our channel, subscribe, hit the bell button so you know when our videos come out. But we are typically here every Friday, 1 p.m. Central Time. Thank you. I love you all with all that I am. Thank you, Minnie, for such a beautiful questions. Thank you. And I will see you all next time. Thank you.